So, ever feel like you're just completely overwhelmed by your finances? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Well, today we're going to dive deep into a plan that has helped literally millions of people find a way out. Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. We're going to break down his proven steps to take back control, one simple action at a time.
I mean, if this quote hits home for you, you know just how draining that feeling is. This is the starting point for so many people. It's that rock bottom feeling where you just know deep down something has to change. And look, that's why we're doing this. We're going to show you how to get from sick and tired to financially empowered.
So, here's the big idea we need to tackle first. What we've all been taught to see as normal, the constant car payments, the student loans that never seem to shrink, the credit card bills, it's actually a pretty carefully constructed financial trap. It's designed to keep you stressed, to keep you stuck. It's time to break free.
Does that sound, I don't know, a little too familiar? It's that feeling of just running as hard as you can, but staying in the exact same spot. You work hard, you get paid, you pay all the bills, and then bam, at the end of the month, there's nothing left to show for it. It can feel absolutely impossible to break, but just seeing it, just recognizing you're on that wheel, that's the first step. So the real question is, are you ready to finally get off? This boiling frog idea, it's a little grim, but it's such a perfect picture of how this stuff happens. See, major financial problems almost never happen overnight. No, it's sneaky. It creeps up on us. One small monthly payment, one little swipe of the credit card at a time, until suddenly we're in boiling water and we never even felt the temperature rise. So, okay, how do you actually escape this trap? Well, it's not about just working harder. It's about thinking smarter. It all starts with a huge mental shift and awakening, where you start to challenge all those financial myths we've been sold our entire lives. It's where you start to see money and debt for what they really are. And yeah, this quote right here, it just nails it. Think about it. Debt has been sold to us aggressively for our entire lives. From car loans to credit cards, the message is constant. It's everywhere. You need debt to get by, to succeed. But this plan argues that's just a flat-out lie. All right, let's tackle the biggest myth out there, the one we hear all the time. Debt is a tool. But you have to ask, a tool for who? The truth is, debt is a tool that makes banks wealthy. See, every single dollar you send to a lender for interest is a dollar you can't use to build your own future. Debt ties up your single most powerful wealth-building tool, your income. And hey, what about this one? This is a classic. Oh, you can't rent a car or book a hotel without a credit card. But the reality? It's so much simpler. A debit card, one that's linked to money you actually have, works for pretty much everything. The only real difference? One makes you spend money you actually have, not money you have to borrow. And if you need to see just how big this normal problem has gotten, just look at that number, $928 billion. That's just in credit card debt. This isn't just a few people making a couple of bad choices. It's a massive cultural problem, and it's built on the myths we've just been talking about. This is an old saying, but it's as true today as it ever was. See, debt isn't just about spreadsheets and interest rates. It's about freedom. It's about who's really in control of your life. When you owe money to someone, you're not fully in charge. A piece of your life belongs to them. All right, so you've seen through the myths, you're fired up, you're ready for a change. So what's the actual step-by-step plan? It's a series of 7 simple, sequential baby steps. And the key here is focus. You do one step at a time, in order. No skipping ahead. And here they are. You'll see there's a real logic to the order here. First, step 1. That's your starter emergency fund. It's just a little cushion, right? So a flat tire doesn't completely blow up your plan. Then, step 2 is where you declare war on debt. After that's done, step 3 is building a much bigger safety net. And only once you're secure do you move on to the really fun stuff, investing, saving for college, and paying off your house early. And the final step, well, that's the ultimate dream, to build so much wealth you can give in ways you never thought possible. Okay, let's zoom in on what is really the engine of this whole plan. Baby step 2. This is where the magic really happens. It's called the debt snowball. And it's designed specifically to create quick wins and build unstoppable momentum. And you gotta understand, this is less about fancy math and way more about changing your behavior. It's about psychology. So how does it actually work? It's a simple 4-step process. First, you list out all your debts, but you order them from the smallest balance to the largest, and you completely ignore the interest rates. Why?
because you're going to attack that smallest debt with everything you've got. And when that first one is gone, and trust me, you will feel that win, you take all the money you were paying on it and you roll it into the payment for the next one. That payment just gets bigger and bigger, like a snowball rolling downhill, knocking out every debt in its path. Now, to really make this work, you need something called gazelle intensity. An image is perfect, right? Think about a gazelle sprinting away from a cheetah. It's not a casual jog in the park. It is all out, focused, life or death running. This means you're making sacrifices. You're working extra hours, you're selling stuff you don't need, whatever it takes to find more cash to throw at the debt. It's a short-term, all-out war. And this right here, this is the real secret sauce. Because the power of the debt snowball, it's not just in the numbers, it's emotional. Seeing your progress, physically crossing a debt off your list, feeling that snowball payment get bigger and bigger, it gives you something you can't put a price on, hope. And believe me, that hope, that's the fuel that'll get you all the way to the finish line. So that feeling of hope, it gets you through that intense sprint. But what happens after? What's on the other side of all that hard work? This is the vision that pulls you through. It's about getting to a place of financial peace that, frankly, most people only ever dream about. And it all comes down to this one powerful idea. This is the mantra for the whole thing. Basically, you're making a trade. For a little while, you're going to live like no one else. Your friends might think you're crazy, you're saying no to dinners out, you're driving an old car, you're skipping the fancy vacation. And why? So that later, for the rest of your life, you can live and give like no one else. And if you want a perfect example of just how powerful this is long-term, just look at a house. Look at this table. Just look at the total paid column. By paying it off in 15 years instead of 30, you save, what is that, over $143,000 in interest. That's insane. That's money that goes into your pocket, not the bank's. I mean, what could you do with that huge chunk of money back in your pocket every single month? And that's the thing, right? In the end, this isn't really about just having a giant pile of money. The real goal is what that money gives you. It gives you peace, so you don't have to live in fear. It gives you choices about your life, your career, your time. And most importantly, it gives you the power to be outrageously generous. So look, this whole plan, it's built on one really simple but powerful truth. Small, consistent steps lead to absolutely massive results. You don't have to fix everything overnight. You just have to start. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be?